Hello, Amazon Live. We are here. This is Kim from Free to Family, and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to be cooking up some low-carb sweet treats because I don't know about you, but being home all the time, being around all the snacks, kind of, if you're on a low-carb diet or you're watching your sugar or you're diabetic, you know that it's hard to be able to partake in some of the things, right? We just can't. We have to stick to a certain diet. So I've been having a lot of my iced coffee, which I'm really enjoying today. And I've been just trying to make treats that keep me from, snacking and looking for things that might have a sweet taste. These treats that I'm going to make with you are made mostly with monk fruit sweetener or with confectioner's erythritol. I really like this. This is really good. I also use almond flour because these are gluten-free, gluten-free, low-carb, sugar-free. That's the most important thing. I mean, I can have gluten. I'm not someone that has to be gluten-free. I do eat a low-carb diet, but I don't have to stay away from gluten. It does kind of upset my stomach if it's a certain type of wrap. I do like to have some low-carb tortilla wraps, and depending on the brand, like the Extreme Wellness brand doesn't bother me, but like the Mission sometimes bothers me. But I don't have to be gluten-free. I just have to stay away from sugar. So I make sure that I pretty much have, in my whole house, even for my family who doesn't have to be low-carb, I pretty much have switched over to the monk fruit sweetener for everything. For every cookie, every cake, even if I use regular flour, I will use the monk fruit sweetener. Only because it measures sugar, it measures just like sugar. So let me show you what this looks like. It measures like sugar, it looks like sugar, and this brand especially doesn't have an aftertaste. Let me show you. You see that? So I really like this texture. I like to be able to bake with it. This texture actually gives baked goods, even if you're using an almond flour base or a coconut flour base, and you have to be gluten-free, it gives you that sugar flavor. Because when you cream it with butter, it's almost like regular sugar. So yeah, that's been saving me. I don't use that in my coffee. I do use like a liquid stevia, but I'm going to put together a couple of recipes that I've just been wanting to have around the house. And again, being home but being low carb and being sugar free, yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge in a normal world, but it's definitely a challenge when you're trying to be home, you're trying to stick to a diet for your health. This is for my health. This is not for any kind of weight loss or anything like that, although I have lost weight eating this way. But it's just for my health. And so if you are a low-carb mom, or if you are a low-carb family, or if you are eating a low-carb diet or a sugar-free diet, you're going to love these recipes. Because even if you're not actually, you're going to love these recipes, because this right here, like I said, even for my family who can, my boys and my husband can still eat regular sugar. Hey there, Ciprian. We can eat regular sugar in this house. I can't, but my family can. I made this switch to this stuff because it literally bakes like real sugar. Look at that. You really can't taste the difference. Now, if you are new to eating this type of way, you might taste a little something, but I tell you, I have cooked and baked with this for my family, and they say they don't taste any different. So I'm going to bake a couple of things. I do want to make my 4-ingredient cookies. I'm hopefully going to put together some candied pecans. I do want to do lemon cheesecake, small little lemon cheesecake. And then if I have time, I'd like to do a mug cake. I know that's a lot of desserts, but what I can do is I keep my cookies, because there's a lot of butter in these recipes, because low carb, high fat, you can use butter. And the sugar is really what triggers the insulin when you're eating a low-carb diet. That's what kind of triggers your insulin, which helps, basically helps you to gain weight and all that good stuff. So keeping your insulin low and, not having a lot of sugar is going to be the way to go. So I'm going to make those recipes, and with my cookies, I usually will put them in the fridge. You don't want to keep them like in a warm house because the colder the better because they are made with butter. But yeah, I think we'll be good. The lemon cheesecake, I think everyone will enjoy. So I'm gonna put the camera down and we're gonna get started here. I just can't wait. I also have been waiting and waiting to get started on enjoying some of these meals and these snacks because honestly, I haven't had too many in a while. This is kind of a labor intensive, as you can see. We have a lot of ingredients here, and you know, to make desserts and things like that, it's not as easy as cooking. And if you follow us on YouTube, you would know that we do our Batch Cooking Like a Boss show. And we do like to cook meals. We normally cook a lot of meals. So when it comes to desserts, I don't normally cook desserts all that much. So I don't normally batch cook desserts. So I'm just gonna make a couple of desserts here and we'll have them for at least a week or two and maybe even more. Let's just get started. Let's see, what do we wanna start with? Let's start with my 4-ingredient low carb cookie. That's what I wanna start with. I absolutely love this recipe. It's so simple, really is so simple. It's one of the most simple recipes that I've ever tried. It's literally butter, almond flour, vanilla, and then baking powder and monk fruit. Now, I call it 4 ingredients because I'm not really counting the baking powder, but it's really, really simple. You're going to literally dive when you see what's in this and how they come out. Hopefully they'll come out by the end of this live stream. All right, so what you wanna do is you wanna take a big Pyrex bowl. This is very similar. I did put some resources in the carousel for the low carb keto diet, but I do wanna share with you now some of the products that I'm using. I always use my Pyrex glass dishes, but I also listed in the carousel these Cuisinart bowls. These Cuisinart bowls are really good. They're kind of like, they remind me of the KitchenAid mixer bowls that are on a stand-up mixer. And if you have a stand-up mixer, you can totally use a stand-up mixer. I'm just not, because on this live stream, it'd be hard for me to maneuver my KitchenAid mixer. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of butter. Now, that's about 4 tablespoons. You could do a little more, you could do a little less, but I prefer to just use about a 1/4 cup. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna throw it in my bowl. And I need to get this, I didn't take this butter out soon enough, so you do need to have it really kind of melted or at room temperature. So I'm just gonna throw this, because it's a bowl, I'm just gonna throw it in the microwave. It'll get my butter soft to where I need it. Just put it in for about 15 seconds. I also wanted to mention, I have this black apron that I'm wearing. It's in the carousel. It's a 2-pack Syntex black apron. Let me see if I can show you. It's a really nice apron. I absolutely love it because it reminds me of an apron that you wear in a restaurant. It has pockets here. It has a little loop that comes around your waist if you double tie it. And I don't know, it just reminds me of working like in a diner. I love being able to put my phone, which I'm streaming on right now, but my phone or anything like that I need, a pencil or a piece of paper for recipes and things like that. So I absolutely love this apron. You should definitely check it out. It's in the carousel below. Let's get our butter. Get myself a spoon. All right, butter is nicely, not too melted. Again, I don't want it really, really hot. I'm not looking to heat up my butter. I'm just looking to get it where it should have been, kind of like at room temperature. Now, what I like about this recipe, it's super simple and there's no egg. I don't have anything against eggs. I absolutely love eggs. There's nothing wrong with eggs, but I just love that it's so simple. It's not one of those recipes where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm baking and I have to take out this and I have to take out that. It's so simple. I'm going to blow your mind with how simple this is. I'm going to take my almond flour, and it's only, so it's a 1/4 cup of butter and only 1 cup of almond flour. I have a 1/2 cup here. Get that going. half a cup. Get another half a cup. Boom. 1 cup. Half a cup twice. So that's 1 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of butter. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of monk fruit. And this is a really nice little tip. This is my Keto monk fruit sweetener. But if I'm baking, I will sometimes ask Alexa or, my Google Home Mini and just ask, how many tablespoons. If I can't remember, obviously I know, but, how many tablespoons. Like, for example, I'd say, okay, Google, how many tablespoons are in 1/4 of a cup? And she'll tell me 4. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you could hear that, but she said 4. So what I like is you could actually just have creamed together the butter and the sugar, but I just throw it all together. That's why I love this recipe. So easy. Literally, look, it's already coming together in a dough. Then I add in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is optional. You don't have to put in baking powder. You don't have to. I just do because I like my cookies to rise a little bit and have a little bit more texture. I like to put a dash of salt. And then I put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now this would be really good with like an almond extract. Be amazing. Look at this. It's already forming. This is why I love this recipe. I'm going to go preheat my oven to 350. These will cook for 10 minutes on 350. Sometimes I'll leave them in for 12. Just depends on, how much I want them to cook. But they literally come out perfectly. It smells so good. It smells like a regular vanilla sugar cookie dough. Literally, it just smells like cookie dough. Look at how easy that was. No eggs, no nothing. Super easy. All right, I'm gonna go over the recipe one more time before I throw these down on my cookie sheet with some parchment paper. Let me go over the ingredients one more time. You're going to start with a 1/4 cup of butter, which is about 4 tablespoons of butter. You're going to cream into that a 1/4 cup of monk fruit sweetener. Okay. Then you're going to put in 1 cup of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then a pinch of salt. And then look at that. This is about the size. It makes about 12 cookies. I don't make them too big when I'm rolling them. I kind of roll them and then I flatten them just a bit. You can put little thumbprints in them like that. You can put the fork, do the double hatch fork on it. But I make about 12 cookies. These are so delicious. They're sugar-free. They're gluten-free. They're egg-free. Low carb. Less than 1 carb per cookie because you're only using 1 cup of almond flour for the whole batch. I'm just putting my thumbprint. I'm just doing a little pinch of dough. These will spread. They're not going to spread huge, but they are going to spread. Now, if I don't come out with 12 of these, I will sometimes steal some dough from some of the others. So far I'm up to 8. I should be able to get 12, but we'll see. I might have to steal some dough and make it even. I do like it to come out with exactly 12 cookies. Like for example, this one, I'm gonna re-roll it. Okay. should have enough, we'll see. For 2 more cookies and we'll be good to go. I made these on Mother's Day for myself. Yeah, for myself. Even though my family actually did enjoy them. They did eat them with me, but I said, Mom is cooking her own cookies. They're like, okay, can we do that for you? I'm like, you don't know how. But seriously, it's that easy. It's this recipe is easy enough for your kids, your husband, anyone can do this. Literally, anyone can do this. Let me wash my hands and I'll go over the recipe one more time and just share with you the lovely ingredients that's in this. If you have some sugar-free jam, you can make these a little thumbprint cookie. If you have a chocolate chip, which I'll do on a few of them, you can put a chocolate chip in the middle. I do like to do that as well. These come out perfect though. I cannot stress to you enough. Literally 4 ingredients. I did put some baking powder, so that kind of makes it 5, and a little bit of salt, which might make it 6, but those are all optional. This is a 1/4 cup of butter, room temperature, 1/4 cup of monk fruit sweetener, this stuff, granulated. It's important to be granulated. You don't want to use liquid stevia. You don't want to use powdered. Use a granulated. I just had one of these sugar-free chocolate chips. They're so good. You know what? Let's put a chocolate chip on all of them. Why not? Chocolate chips, sugar-free chocolate chips, never hurt anyone. So after the 1 cup of almond flour, after the 1/4 cup of monk fruit, it's 1 cup of almond flour, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And this is what they look like before they go in the oven. They really are delicious. They come out perfect. They're so easy. 4 ingredients. You cannot go wrong with this. Such an easy recipe. You saw I literally put everything in one bowl. There was no special mixer. There was no special apparatus. Literally. Put it all in a bowl and you have cookies. So if you're having a hankering or a craving, or you're like, oh my gosh, I need cookies right now, this is your go-to recipe. And then I'm not going to make it in this live stream, but I do make an amazing cream cheese frosting. It's so good. You basically just take, literally, it's just 4 ingredients. You take butter and cream cheese. You can take, it's basically 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. This is just for a little dip if you want to do it just for a couple of cookies, or you can make it and just sprinkle it all over them. It's 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, and then you take the powdered confectioner's erythritol, which is very similar to the monk fruit sweetener, but it's powdered. And then you take a little vanilla, you mix it, you melt it in the microwave, and you can drizzle it over your cookies, or you can just dip the cookies. You know what? I'm gonna make some. Let me put this aside. I'm going to make some. I'm in the mood for that. Let's do it. I'm gonna get my cream cheese. 1 second. Just almost, the oven is almost ready. It's almost preheated. All right, let me show you how to make this really easy, sugar-free cream cheese frosting. It's so simple. Excuse me while I eat another chocolate chip. All right, I'm gonna grab my butter. So a tablespoon of butter. Okay, simple. Again, this is just for 1 serving. If you want to double it, you can go ahead and double it. Just doing 1 tablespoon of butter. 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. And I'm going to melt it for about 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds. in the microwave. It doesn't get any more simple than that. That's about 12 seconds. All right, let's just do 12 seconds. Take a little spoon, mix it up. I'm going to add in my erythritol and vanilla, and that's it. So it's just butter, cream cheese, powdered erythritol, and vanilla. And it's just the best, the best. The best frosting. Now, when it comes to the erythritol, I put 2 teaspoons in, but you can put up to, you know, a tablespoon, whatever works for you. This is just, again, 1 serving. That's my oven. Look at this. Literally cream cheese frosting, sugar-free. Look at that, amazing. So good. 4 ingredients. 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 2 teaspoons of erythritol. So good. And then vanilla. And you can add more erythritol if you would like. But the cookies go great. So let's save this. I'll show you what I do with it. But let me get my cookies in the oven, because I want to be able to show you what these look like before the end of the live stream. So let's set the timer for 10 minutes. All right. Yes, back to this. This stuff is so good. Even, I would say, if you're low carb or keto and you're just craving something sweet, make yourself some cream cheese frosting. It literally reminds me of those Pillsbury frosting, you know, the Pillsbury frosting when you go to frost a cupcake for your kids at their birthday party. The consistency is very similar. It's sweet, sugar-free, no carbs. Well, carbs for the cream cheese, but it's only about 1 carb for this whole bowl. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this. 1 tablespoon butter, 2 tablespoons cream cheese, a splash of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of powdered erythritol. It's really important that it's powdered, which I linked in the carousel, because it gives you this nice frosting texture. See that? Yes. Oh, love it. All right. Next up, we are going to make a lemon no-bake cream cheesecake. Can't even talk. All right, so we're gonna use the same bowl. We're going to use the same bowl. We're going to start with the crust. We're gonna make the crust first. Now the crust for this cheesecake is really, really simple. It's very similar to the cookies that I just made. It's 2 tablespoons of butter and ½ a cup of almond flour. And I'm going to make this mini, because you can make it in a big pie pan. You can even make like individual sized mason jars. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make sort of a 1 Pyrex. This is like a 3-cup Pyrex. And again, this is no bake. So we're making a no bake lemon cheesecake, low carb, keto, no sugar, all that good stuff. All right, so we have our butter. We're making the crust right now. I'm going to take ½ a cup of almond flour. I still have my ½ a cup in here. Well, you know what? First I want to just melt this butter a little bit. It's not quite room temperature. Put it in the microwave for a few minutes. Get that going. Then we're going to do our ½ a cup of almond flour. It's almost exactly similar to our cookie recipe we just made. So it's a ½ a cup of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, a ¼ teaspoon of vanilla, which I'll just do a splash, and then 1 tablespoon of monk fruit. It's our monk fruit sweetener. I'm going to use, I have it in there. I'm going to use this granulated, there's a chocolate chip piece snuck inside. I'm going to use the granulated monk fruit. Again, this is very, very, very similar to our cookie recipe. where we're just making a simple crust. Just put that butter and almond flour together and you'll make yourself a crust. Kind of like a cookie crust. A lot of people say to me, Kim, how do you eat low carb? How do you eat sugar-free? With things like monk fruit sweetener and almond flour and my Chalk Zero chocolate chips and my Chalk Zero syrup, it makes it so much easier. Seriously, it makes it so much easier. You know what, I'm going to switch out my Pyrex. I'm gonna make a smaller batch. Because this is a half a batch that I'm making. I'm not trying to make a huge cheesecake right now. Alright, so this is, I need a little bit more almond flour. Okay. We're finished mixing up our crust. And again, our crust was super simple. It's almost the same exact ingredients as our cookie dough. Surprisingly, I'm just going to take this small Pyrex. This is a 1 quart Pyrex bowl. Dump that crust in there. just dump it. No biggie. Push the bottom. Make like a crust. Now, if you double this recipe, you can use a pie pan, but I'm just going to make a small cheesecake. And you want to refrigerate this after you're done because it's made of butter and it's kind of warm in my house right now actually, so this is going to be warmer than normal. But you'll see here I have my crust. Again, this is just a basic almond flour crust, half a cup of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 1 teaspoon of monk fruit. And if I put this in the fridge, it would actually harden up just like a crust. Okay? This doesn't look like a crust so much now because we don't have the cheesecake in there. But we're gonna move on to our cheesecake. It's gonna be delicious. All right, let me wash my hands. We'll come back and we'll work on the cheesecake. All right, get my microplane. So the cheesecake, a low carb keto sugar-free cheesecake is actually really, really simple. It's 4 ounces of cream cheese. And again, if I don't know how much I'm working with, I usually would just ask Google. For example, Google, how many tablespoons is 4 ounces of cream cheese? Okay, Google, how many tablespoons is 4 ounces of cream cheese? I should know this.
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help. On the website thespruceeats.com, they say 1/2 cup, 4 ounces, 8 tablespoons, 120 grams, 4 servings.
So 4 ounces is a 1/2 cup. We're gonna do about 8 tablespoons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we have our cream cheese, 4 ounces of cream cheese, and then we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, which is only, and I'm using a tablespoon here because this is how I bake. I'm gonna use 4 tablespoons. Okay, Google, how many tablespoons are in a 1/4 cup? Okay, Google, how many tablespoons are in a 1/4 cup?
0.25 US cup is equal to 4 US tablespoons.
There you go.
To convert
You
from
can
a
also,
soft
if you have an
to
Alexa, do that. Ask
volume
Alexa.
by
I'm just going to put 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how we make a keto cream cheese. Simple. I mean, I said cream cheese. This is how we make a keto cheesecake, not cream cheese. Oh my goodness. I obviously am infatuated with this. Love, love, love it. Okay. Now I'm going to add, let me get this off my finger. I'm going to add the remaining ingredients. I am going to use the powdered sweetener. This is the powdered erythritol. I just find it works better. Use the other side. I love these magnetic spoons. Let me highlight these in the carousel. These are amazing because they have two sides. So I just use this side for my cream cheese, and I'm going to use this side now. It's the same measurement. It's actually designed so it fits into spice jars. I'm just going to do that. 2 tablespoons of powdered sweetener. So 2 tablespoons of that. I'm gonna put in, I think I already have a lemon, but I'm gonna put in some lemon zest. Is it zesting? Maybe I need to get, what's up with this lemon? She doesn't want to zest. Get a better lemon here. I'm gonna put in about 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. And then I need lemon juice, which I already have a cut lemon in my fridge. That's my oven. Put in some lemon juice. I'll be right. Oh, let me check on mine. Those are gonna cook. I'm gonna cook them for 2 more minutes just to get out all the moisture. I already have a lemon here. I just need to put in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Oh, looks like I need to cut this lemon here. Add some more lemon zest, and then I'll cut this lemon up and get this lemon going. This is a lemon keto cheesecake. Come on. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this lemon zest here. Oh, there we go. I'm just not, I don't have enough strength in my hand. And you usually need my husband to do this. Babe. I edit a lot of videos and I work on the computer a lot, so I don't have carpal tunnel, but I have a little bit of a strength issue in my wrist. So that required a lot of extra strength. Whew, that was rough. All right, let me cut this lemon. Get some lemon juice in here. And for the lemon juice, I just need 1 teaspoon. Right. Wash my hands, get my hand mixer. Again, if you have a KitchenAid or a KitchenAid mixer, you can totally use that. I'm not going to bring over my KitchenAid, I'm just going to bring over my little guy. This is my handy dandy trusty mixer. Hopefully this was my issue with the KitchenAid. I don't know if it'll reach on camera. Let's see. Okay, looks like it might reach. We'll see. Put these in, and let me go grab those cookies. I'll show you those in a quick second. All right, those will be done in a second. So this is the cream cheese. This is the cream, I can't talk. This is the cheesecake mixture. I'll go over the ingredients again. 4 ounces of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. Important, it's heavy whipping cream. 2 tablespoons powdered sweetener, 1 teaspoon lemon zest, 1 tablespoon lemon juice. the heavy cream really gets that nicely whipped. Nicely whipped. All right, I'm going to take out my cookies and I'll be right back. I'll show you these cookies in a second. They look delicious. All right. Just going to pop these suckers out. How many of you licked these when you were a kid? I love licking the little beaters. Oh, so good. Let's go back to our childhood here. Nom, 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 nom. So delicious. Oh, there's a lot of lemon zest on here. Really good. So delicious. Okay. We're going to take this cream cheese mixture, which is now our cheesecake mixture, and we're going to throw it on top of our crust. So good. You can't see me, but I'm literally licking these. If you're low carb or you're keto, you need to make cheesecake. It's one of the guilty pleasures that we can indulge in. And it's so easy. Cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, powdered sweetener like erythritol or monk fruit, lemon zest, if you want it to be lemon juice. Oh my gosh, so delish. So good. And then you get to lick the beaters guilt-free. How many of you licked the beaters when you were a kid? I know I did. All right, we have our crust. Where is my spoon? Oh, here we go. Just going to pop this on top. There we go. It smells so delicious. Smells like a lemon tart almost. So nice and lemony. So good. So this is a half of a serving, meaning I didn't make the full recipe. I made only about half because I don't know how many people. I mean, my husband and I will probably enjoy this together. I don't know if my kids will eat it. We'll give it a try. We'll give it a go. They do love my cookies that I did make for you. They will eat those, so I'll show you those. But in terms of like every keto treat, they're not on board with everything. So they're not on board with everything. I'll tell you that. Okay. Let's see where we're at. I think I want to zest a little bit more lemon on top. See if we can do that. I don't know. Nope. I have the lemon juice. Let's see if I can get this guy here. Ha. There we go. Look at that. See that? So it's the almond flour crust and the cheesecake. So delicious. I am going to put that in the refrigerator. It's important that it cools down. Definitely want it to cool down. Don't want it to overheat. I'm going to begin cleaning up a little bit. My kitchen is a disaster. Let me clean this up a little bit. Put this over here. And then I do want to show you these cookies. They're so good. If you are low carb, keto, or you're just trying to, you're trying your best to not eat sugar right now, this cookie recipe is going to be your best friend. You know why? Because it's easy. I can't tell you how many recipes I just don't engage in because they're too complicated. I'm not the biggest baker. You know, I do like to cook, but baking and cooking are two different tasks, as you know. I mean, they're two different skill sets. I can cook like no one's business, but can I bake? I'm not the best at it, you know. Let me just wipe this up a little bit, and I want to show you. These cookies. They are so delicious. All right, are you ready? They're still a little bit hot. All right, let's see. Let me put something down. They are divine. Divine. Look at these. Now, they're still a little bit soft because they're full of butter. If you remember, this recipe is so easy, so simple, and look at these. They're delicious. Now, when they get cooled off, they won't be as soft. They'll definitely be a lot more firm. So what I like to do is let them cool as much as possible. They're still warm because they're on a warm tray. But let them cool as much as possible and then put them in the refrigerator. And then serve them with this. Oh, this cream cheese frosting. Yes. I'm gonna take one of these. Look at that. All right, let's review the ingredients for all this while I lick my blender one more time. I feel like a kid. All right, so these cookies were super simple. 4 ingredients plus salt and baking powder, but I don't really count those as main ingredients. So I just use a 1/4 cup of butter, 1 cup of almond flour, a 1/4 cup of monk fruit sweetener, and I use this is the granulated one. You wanna use the granulated. Granulated is going to measure like sugar. It's going to pour like sugar. It has the same consistency, I'll show you, as sugar. I showed you in the beginning of this live stream here. Look at this. It literally pours like real sugar. So we pretty much have eliminated cane sugar from our house. And I use this with everything. Even if I'm making a treat with regular wheat flour, I will use this monk fruit sweetener because it's a great sub. It doesn't have any kind of aftertaste. It doesn't have that cooling effect. Some of the erythritol sweeteners out there have too much of a cooling effect. This does not have a cooling effect, so big up to Lakanto for that. We absolutely love them for that. It's classic white sugar replacement. And you'll see here, 0 carb, 0 glycemic, 0 calorie, 1-to-1 sugar replacement, and keto approved. And you can get this on Amazon. The most amazing sugar substitute. Even if you're not low carb, even if you're not sugar free, I encourage you and implore you to get this and swap it out for sugar and see if your family or you even sees the difference. Because I guarantee you, you're really not going to be able to taste that difference. All right. So that's what I used. Again, a 1/4 cup of butter, 1 cup of almond flour, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1 teaspoon baking powder, a 1/4 cup of monk fruit sweetener, and then you bake. You do a pinch of salt. You bake them, 350. Yep, 350 for 10 minutes. I put them in for about 10 to 12 minutes. Just depends on your oven. I am going to get a Pyrex glass dish. I'm going to slowly put them in. Now, they're firm, but they'll get more firm as I put them in the refrigerator because these cookies are heavily butter-based, right? So it makes 12 of them, and they're perfect, literally perfect. Love these cookies so much, I tell ya. And then with this, this is a dessert from heaven, I just have to say. So good. So these are my low carb, sugar-free, basic 4-ingredient sugar cookie recipe. So simple, no eggs, no craziness, no, complicated recipe at all. Nothing complicated at all. And I love that about this recipe. All right. Okay, so what is next? Next and last is my candied pecans. I'm going to use the exact same baking sheet here, but I'm going to throw it over here for a second. I'm going to get a bowl. I'm going to put some butter. Now, I'm only using about a cup of pecans, so I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of butter. 2 tablespoons of butter. Go ahead and melt that in the microwave. While that's melting for 15 seconds, I'm going to put away my little hand mixer. Clean as you go. Clean as you go. Very important. All right, that's our butter. Boom. Now I'm going to add in my Chalk Zero maple syrup. This is my Chalk Zero maple syrup. Love, love, love Chalk Zero maple syrup. They also sweeten all of their syrups with monk fruit. Love that about them. If you want to use a different type of sweetener or a different type of syrup, go ahead and have at it. But I do like Chalk Zero's maple syrup because it's, I'll show you the label. It's actually only 1 tablespoon. It's coming out real slow. For 1 tablespoon, is it 1 tablespoon? Yeah, for 1 tablespoon, which I'm only going to use about 1 tablespoon. Ooh. It is, look at this, 1 carb per serving. Love that. All right. Okay, so I'll put in my maple syrup. Put in a dash of vanilla. This is really just like, this isn't even a recipe, guys. This is just, I'm just putting some stuff together. Put a little bit of salt to counter the sweetness. And then I'm gonna use pumpkin pie spice. Now pumpkin pie spice is just gonna be my way of giving these pecans a little bit of flavor, a little bit of spice. I'm gonna use 1 cup of pecans. These are raw pecans. What I love most about pecans is they are the lowest carb, most keto friendly nut. For a 1/4 cup, it's only 1 net carb. So, take all that, mix it up. I'm gonna sprinkle it with some monk fruit sweetener if you want that extra granulated, but I already have the maple syrup. I'm gonna throw it on here. And again, we'll just review what I put in here. It's gonna be my candied pecans. So easy. I don't understand when people say they're missing out. I don't ever really feel like I'm missing out. The only thing sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out on this lifestyle is like a crunch. So these candied pecans are perfect for that. They're perfect for the crunch that you need. Perfect. All right. So let's review what's in this again. I'm just turning these over so they're about face up. All right. So what did I put in these candy pecans? Super simple. I just put butter, maple syrup. So I put about 2 tablespoons of butter, some maple syrup, some salt, some cinnamon, and then if you want, just to top it off, you can put a little bit of sprinkle. This is just a sprinkle of monk fruit sweetener. And you can bake these. You can also throw a little bit of coconut flakes. I love that. Extra little kick to it. So what is a keto-friendly food? Basically a food that is low in carbohydrates, right? So low carb, and something that usually doesn't have sugar or too many processed, artificial ingredients. That's, to me, what keto is. Keto is really a metabolic state that your body initiates once it's eating low carb. So that's sort of how I see it. And so there's so many foods that I feel like I honestly can eat, especially sweets. Another thing I was going to make, but I probably don't have the time to make, is like a berry parfait. 1 second, I'll wash my hands. You can make a berry parfait simply by putting berries and whipped cream together. You can make your own whipped cream with your hand mixer or your KitchenAid mixer. You can make your own whipped cream, or you can buy sugar-free whipped cream from the grocery store. Let me show you the one I have from Walmart. I got a sugar-free whipped cream from Walmart, and it's great. Now you can buy this at a grocery store. This is great, this heavy cream. Just whip it up with these good old things and make yourself your own whipped cream. Put a little bit of liquid stevia, a little bit of powdered erythritol, whatever sweetener works for you. So you can make your own. But then they now have this. This is the Great Value sugar-free heavy whipping cream. Love, love, love this stuff. I put this in my coffee. I put it on berries. It's just really convenient. You get that satisfaction, of getting the whipped cream out of the container just like that. Like, people do who aren't on a diet. You know what I mean? Who aren't on a restrictive diet. You get that satisfaction. Love that for us. So yeah, you can make your own whipped cream, or you can buy sugar-free whipping cream. It just depends. But basically, I like to, make sure I always have something on hand, like this cheesecake that I made. If you are just tuning in, this is a lemon cheesecake. This is a no-bake lemon cheesecake with an almond flour crust. So good. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. It's gonna get a little bit hard. Not a little bit hard, it's going to harden up. But another thing you do is you can just have berries. Blueberries, it's my blueberry stash, right? Have some blueberries with whipped cream. You can do, there's no rules here. Blueberries, strawberries, cheesecake, cookies. If you're just tuning in, you didn't see those cookies I made. I'll show you those cookies again. We're gonna get these candy pecans in the oven. And again, the candy pecans have butter. I just melted some butter, some chalk zero maple syrup, salt, pumpkin spice. It's just a pumpkin spice seasoning blend by McCormick here. This stuff is amazing. And we're good to go. I'm gonna put these in the oven, toast it, put a little coconut on top. We'll put those in for about 8 minutes. But this is the winning star of the show. Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, guys. It's the star of the show. It changed my life when I found it, because I'm gonna show you what I was using for everything. It was kind of annoying. I was using this, which is great for coffee. I absolutely love it. I'm drinking it right now in my iced coffee. I don't ever get iced coffee anywhere without using this. I bring it home and then I put this in it. So this is really great for liquid, okay? Thus the word liquid stevia. But I made the mistake early on. Of baking with this. Do not bake with liquid stevia if you're on a low carb diet. You will hate your new low carb diet. I repeat, do not bake with liquid stevia. You don't want to bake with liquid stevia. You want to use the granulated stuff. This is my extra stash of my granulated. When I found the granulated monk fruit sweetener, it changed my life, because when you mix this with butter, you are getting that cream effect that you get from a regular recipe that has butter and sugar. And I didn't realize that makes all the difference. If you want a good cookie, you have to cream the butter and the sugar together. If you want a delicious baked cheesecake made from almond flour, you're gonna want that. I use the granulated in the crust, and I use the powdered sweetener in the cheesecake. So, what is the difference between the powdered? This is some powdered erythritol, and this is monk fruit with erythritol. The powdered erythritol is great for cheesecakes. It's great for baked goods where you don't want that granulated taste, but you need granulated erythritol or granulated monk fruit to make something like this. Changed my entire world, changed my whole life when I found out about granulated monk fruit sweetener. I tell you, changed the whole low carb game, because it gave me back that baked good taste that you want, that crunch to the cookie, that chewiness, right? Now the chewiness a lot of times does come from having gluten in your diet, so you won't always get that chewiness. You can use, let me see if I have it. Oh, this is what you can use to get a little bit of a chew. You can use xanthan gum. You can use xanthan gum if you want a little bit of a chew to your breads and your cookies. I was just really craving that, kind of that crunch, right? And these cookies are a little bit more crunchy than any cookie I made, because when you cream the butter and the sugar, or the Lakanto white sugar replacement, you're gonna get that cookie taste. You're gonna get that, you know? So let me show you what these look like here. A little bit of a chew. Look at that. So good. Delicious. These are way better when they're cold, but they literally are so delicious. They don't have an aftertaste. They don't have that weirdness to them. You know, when you eat, I don't know if you know what I mean, but I've tried some sweeteners. They just give off a weird cooling effect. Now, the more you eat low carb treats with Lakanto sweetener or stevia or erythritol, you'll get used to it. You will get used to it. But I find that Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, out of all of the brands, the Lakanto monk fruit sweetener is the best brand that doesn't give you that cooling effect. You're not going to get that cooling effect on your cookies, your baked goods. Look at that. So delicious. Oh my goodness. So I'm finishing up my pecans, and then I have my lemon cheesecake here. I'm going to get this in the fridge. I'm going to put my cookies in the fridge, get my tops for my Pyrex. And I am a happy camper. I am a happy camper here in my house in isolation because, you know, there's temptation all around. And when you're on a restrictive diet for your health, not for weight loss, but for your health. When you're on a restrictive diet for your health, it's hard to find things that really satiate you and make you feel good about what you're doing. And these, look at these, so good. My 4 ingredient cookies, 1/4 cup of butter, 1 cup of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 cup of monk fruit. Could even add a pinch of salt. So good. And then my lemon cheesecake with the almond flour crust. It's just cheese. It's just cream cheese and heavy whipping cream with some powdered sweetener, lemon zest, and lemon juice. And then this is literally the same ingredient almost as my cookie. But this is a no bake recipe. I'm just going to put it in my fridge. We have a delicious buffet here. I'm super happy. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot believe we've been streaming for an hour. My goodness. This is also my cream cheese frosting. Reminds me of like a Pillsbury frosting. It's just 1 tablespoon butter, 2 tablespoons cream cheese, vanilla, and 2 teaspoons of powdered erythritol. And what I love to do is this. Look at this. Love to dip it. So good. Sugar-free, gluten-free, delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy. I hope you make some of these recipes. Grab some of the products in the carousel below, and we'll see you next time.